Hello and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is April the 28th, 2022. It seems like just yesterday it was the beginning of the month, and already here it is the end of the month. Next week when I see you again, it'll be May. Um, but the weather outside doesn't seem to know what it is because we had temperatures up in the mid 20s, that's Celsius, which would be about the mid 70s or higher in Fahrenheit on Sunday. And people were out enjoying the buds on the trees bursting out and the flowers in the garden. And today, it is down right around zero, which is 32 in Fahrenheit. We have frost warnings out today. So I'm really worried about some of my hostas. I have quite an extensive hosta collection, and they were bursting out early this year. And now I'm worried with a frost warning. I'll tell you more about my hostas later in the spring. So who knows if it's spring or if it's winter or if summer will ever get here. Mother Nature doesn't seem to even know. Now, I have quite a few different things to talk to you about today. I don't know how much will get covered. We'll see. So I'm going to be going in a lot of different directions. And I'm going to start out with telling you how life changed direction for me this past week. Because if you remember last week when I was showing you ponchos, and just before I finish that thought, I want to say something about ponchos. You know, I showed you the ponchos I have, and I mostly have had in the last 2 weeks, I mostly had winter ponchos. I had a couple, not winter, but cool weather, fall, early spring, heavier ponchos. But I want to remind you that ponchos are something that can be worn in the late spring and even into summer. For example, you've seen quite a few of these that I showed you in the past. I have made a number of ponchos out of cotton or cotton acrylic, the cakes, the gradient cakes. And they make for a nice item to put over like a tank top or a short sleeveless top, to dress up a very plain top. So these can be worn into the summer. And I have a reason for getting these out right now, because last week when I showed you all my ponchos, I said that I was working on a poncho that I hoped to show you today if I finished it, which I probably would have finished. But after I finished my video, I found out, sadly, that the craft show that I was working hard to have lots of items for, that usually happens the first weekend in November. And it's an arts and crafts show, so is all artisans and crafters, nothing else. And it's run in this city for years and years and years. The group that was running it the last time I was in it have been doing it for, I don't know, more than 20 years. And they took it over from the city recreation department. That must have did it for 20 or more years before that. It's been going since I can remember. Well, I was talking to the woman in charge of organizing it, and she told me that their group came to the decision that they aren't going to run it anymore. And I've been stockpiling things for almost, well, 2.5 years, preparing for this craft show. So all of a sudden, I didn't know what I was going to do with all the things I was making. I do list them sometimes on the Facebook Marketplace. And as you know, I do have a Facebook business page where I sell my items, but I don't seem to get very much traffic there. And so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I started looking online for any other craft shows that I could get involved in. Now, I'm sure you're aware, for those of you that do participate in craft shows, they are expensive to be in. We don't have a lot of good quality ones in my area, and a lot of the ones that we have also have what they call direct sales. So things like Tupperware and Pampered Chef and Sweet Legs leggings and all the other direct sales have people at those as well. And I really don't like going in shows with those because they're competition. I see it. And a lot of them throughout the summer and early fall are outdoors. And when you're taking handmade items outdoors is very risky unless you have a tent. And I haven't wanted to invest in a tent because I go in like one show a year. I don't make the rounds of shows. I just like going in this one fall one that's indoors. But anyway, in my search, I did find a group that are having an indoor craft show. Now, it does include other vendors, but it was very reasonable. And I thought, you know what? I need to try at least one and see how it goes. And it's at the end of June. Well, of course, I can't go with all my heavy cocoons and my heavy ponchos. I have to take things that are more geared to summer. So I stopped the poncho right away, put it aside. So I have that whip there to be done after I'm done with this. So I do have some summer weight ponchos, as I just showed you, and I have some summer weight shawls, and I will make a couple more. I'm planning to make some summer hats with the big brims on them, and I will take my loveys to that show. I won't need to take as much because it is not a big show, so I won't need to take everything. I want to take a couple of my what I call fashion scarves, the very lightweights. I will take a couple of those. So my focus totally changed this week. So I'm busy making other summery things rather than fall and winter things, and I'll show you them as they get finished. So where am I going to start? The first thing I want to start with is showing you, if you remember, I think it was last week, might have been the week before, but I think it was last week, I showed you the yarn I got from Reggie, and it included this package of minis, and they are DK minis. And I said at the time, I think I want to make a bias scarf using these, and I wanted to get a dark brown DK weight yarn to go with it. So I ordered from my Canadian hand dyer that I like so much. It's called Ravenswood. Here is their card. And they are located in Nova Scotia, but they are in the process of moving to New Brunswick, I understand, right in the next week or so. So they're going to be shut down for a few days. But I was able to make my order, and I got this yarn just this morning. I waited to do my video until I got my order. And what do you think? Is that going to look nice with these yarns? Let's see if I can hold it up so that you can still see the other yarns. I think I have two skeins of this. I just opened the one. And there are the other yarns. And I think they're going to look really good together. I'm really looking forward to doing this, but it's heavier yarn. It won't get done until after the end of June, after the show I'm going to be in. But I wanted to show you this yarn that I just got to go with the yarn I showed you just last week. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. Then next, I have yarn to show you, and I have some finished objects, and I don't know what direction to go first. I think I'm going to go with the yarn simply because, leave that alone. Simply because I don't know how my time will go, and sometimes the yarn takes longer than I think. And if I don't get through all my finished objects, I can show you another time. So the first yarn I wanted to show you is this yarn I got. This is very different for me, but I bought this because I want to start trying some new and different things. I have had yarn from this company before. I showed you way back when I was showing lots of yarn. But this time I ordered mohair silk. Very fine yarn. Number 1, or maybe even a 0. Let's see if I can get a strand free here. There we go. Very, very fine, but very, very soft. And I ordered 2 of each color in case I want to double it up, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to work with something that fine. So this is 72% kid mohair, 28% silk. Isn't it a beautiful color? There are 420 meters or 459 yards in the skein. Company is Tanis, and they are in Canada. Pretty sure they're in Canada. I think they're in Quebec, if I recall correctly. But I will definitely put a link below if you're interested in getting some. Seemed to me they were reasonably priced for a mohair silk combination. So that's the one color I ordered. And here is the other color I ordered. Same exact specs, just a different color. Isn't that beautiful? And I can't wait till the fall when I try my hands at working with such a thin yarn. I don't know if I should put it with something, but I have seen knitters have more luck, I think, with this weight. I've seen knitters make some absolutely beautiful shawls with this, but I'm really thinking that I will have to use 2 strands, one from each skein when I skein it up. I think this is one of those things that you aren't going to want to frog. You better do something easy that you don't have any problems with frogging. So that was one thing I got a few weeks back that I just absolutely love the colors of. And the other thing I want to show you quickly is this is another hand dyer that is in Quebec. I think she's close to Montreal. And I really wanted to talk about her because she was so good to work with. She had sock blanks, and she had some really, really pretty colored ones. Now, they look different in the blank, but she puts them in a cake for you, and her name is Hidden Pond Yarns. Hidden Pond Yarns, and she is on Etsy. Again, I will put a link to her. Like I said, she's in Quebec. And this is the first sock blank I saw. So it's your pastels, pale blue to mauve, pink, yellow, green, and back out here to a blue. It looks gray here, but it looks blue in the camera. It looked very pretty in the sock hank. And so I'm looking forward to trying. I will make, this is quite long. It is a gradient that is 50% superwash merino and 20% nylon. She calls it her squishy sock base, and it has 800 yards in it. So it's going to make fingering weight, as you can see, and it is going to make a nice size shawl, 800 yards. So I'm looking forward to working with that. But she had another one there that it was a little more my colors, but it also had yellows and greens in it, which you know I'm not keen on. And I asked her if she could make the same thing without that. She says, well, she only did one of each, and no formulas. She didn't write down what she did. So she was willing to try to dye one to my specifications. And I said, well, I liked the pink and I liked the purples, and maybe she could put some aqua or teal or turquoise of some color in it instead of the yellows and that. So she dyed up a hank, a sock blank for me. And again, this is same specs as the other one, 800 grams or 800 yards. I'm going to have to show you both sides because she said her winder went kind of wonky. So you can't see all the colors on one side. But I saw the blank and it was gorgeous. It has pinks, and then it goes into this mauve, and then the blues, and then the turquoise. But you can see it's got several colors of turquoise. So you can't see the purple at all here. And you see purple and blue, but you can't see the pink at all. But they're definitely my kind of colors, so I'm looking forward to maybe making myself a really nice shawl out of this. And along with that order, I also ordered one of her gradient packages. If you check her out, you really should check her out. She has all kinds of mini gradient packages, and this is the one, you can understand why. This is the one I ordered. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? There are 10 mini hanks in there. Each mini hank is 87 yards. Again, it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. This almost, we're going into green there. But I really, really liked this gradient. I think I might make a bias scarf. And because they're 87 yards and there are 10, this is 870 yards in the package. And I really, really liked that color. But she had every color of gradient you could think of, and not all were gradients. Some were just mixed up colors. I would really strongly advise you check her out, Hidden Pond Yarns. I will put a link in the description box below so you can see some of her gradients, or even just a mixture of mini yarns, especially if you want to take some mini yarns. Or you could take, I don't know how many it takes to make a sock, but maybe it takes 2 or 3 of these. You could make a sock, a sock, a sock, or her other ones that have all kinds of colors. But she was so nice to work with and so ready to dye me up something. And she dyed it that very night and told me the next day, here's a picture, and had it in the mail to me right away. She was really, really good to work with. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is I made another order from Stenley. Now, I showed you what I got from Stenley before. It was quite a large order. This one isn't as large. But actually the company is Pleta, PLETA.BG. They are in Bulgaria, and I will link them in the description box below. But what I like is their gradient cakes. Stenley, it has a different name. I forget what they call it, but that's the company they started with. They do carry other brands like Alice, and I think they have Yarn Art, and top of my head, can't remember. But they do have other companies. Their company is Stenley. And they were having some kind of, this is a muffin. And it says this muffin is 100% acrylic. There it is. It's like 4 strands together, but it does have a bit of halo from the beginning. I figured there was wool in it, but it says no, it's 100% acrylic. And there's the color of this one. They have a starting pull on every one of their cakes. Now what I noticed is they were having what they called Muffin special editions. And I don't know which one of the ones I got were the special editions, but they were really, really reasonable. I think they were something like, I don't know if it was €7 or €9, but I mean, it works out to, even if it's €9, it's under $15 for this size. And all of them, yeah, all of them, these cakes have 2,000 meters in them. That is twice the other gradient cakes that are more money. So I wanted to get, so you can see what I'd be working with when you put it all together. Now, mind you, I prefer them twisted like the twisters from Hobie, but still, this is going to be a decent thickness working with it. 2,000 meters. I'll be able to make some really large shawls, some beautiful ones. And like I said, it's 100% acrylic. So I got this color. Love it. Then I wanted to get pinks, but pink or red, they didn't come quite the color I expected. It looks more red in the screen there than it is in person. And it works down to pinks, different shades of red through to pink. Looks more mauvey there. Again, 2,000 meters, 100% acrylic. And I have a couple more. Just hang on. This one is all pink. You can see it's a rose color and goes into mauves and pinks. Almost white, but it isn't. It's pink at the center. Again, 2,000 meters. And one more muffin. I think 3 of these were the special edition and one was a regular one. I think this must have been the regular one. I like the color so well, I was going to get it regardless. But it is the same thing. It's 100% acrylic and 2,000 meters. And look at the color of this. Stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. So 4 of those muffins. Then I got a mini baby muffin. It's called a baby muffin. It is still 100% acrylic. And it has 1,160 meters in it. And it's rainbow. Isn't that pretty? And 1,160 meters, for those in the US, you add about 10%. So it's going to be 1,200, over 1,260, getting close to 1,300 yards. Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous? Really vibrant. That should be fun to make not a poncho. Ponchos don't take that much, but definitely a shawl. And then this one, again, I'm into the rainbow look. And I saw some of these made up. And the color changing in the ones that were made up on the site were absolutely stunning. Now, I picked a bright one. This is called the Merino Cake 1,000, which means it has 1,000 meters. And it has 50% Australian baby merino and 50% acrylic. So if I can find, here we are, a thread, you can see that it's going to be multicolors together. That's the, I don't see the beginning. Oh, it's in here. Here's the beginning. See, several colors together. So I don't know how this is going to change, but I believe it is a color changing thing. So it'll slowly, you're wondering why I got it with that yellow in it, but it's got a pink, and then it's slowly going to change with the purple in it to the orange out. I might even leave some of the very center out, or maybe I'll start with it on the outside and work with it and make whatever length of item it is I want to make. And then if I don't get to the middle, I don't get to the middle. So there's the center, and I need to wind that back up. So that is the merino cake. So it has merino in it, along with acrylic. And I think it's beautiful. Next, I really like their vegan cakes the last time I got them. So I ordered 2 more. These probably have, these have 1,200 meters in it. Now, I've seen a couple of shawls with 1,200 meters in it. So I'm quite happy to have something that size. So here is the colors. There's the start again. This time it's just a paper start. There's the colors that it's going to change. Isn't that pretty? Reminds me of a flower. And this is made up of 80% cotton and 20% polyester. A little bit thin, but not any thinner than some of the other cakes I work with. I'll be okay with it. It says probably to use a 3.5. Yeah, 2.5 to 3.5, and I can work with a 3.5. So there's that color, and then the exact same thing, this color. And I really like the shade of purple on the outside. So those two. Now I have one more cake here, and I left it in the cellophane just to show you that every single one of those cakes or cones comes wrapped in cellophane like this. But I took them out because I didn't want to do all that crinkle here on the video, but I will do it with this one. It's tied, and I just take the string off. So you can see that they package them really well to protect them in shipment. That wasn't too bad. And this one's called Candy Opal. I have one other one that is Candy Opal, and I haven't used it yet. I think it's black and purple, and it's called Candy Opal because it has opal running through it. And isn't that a beautiful color? There again is your starting. I don't know if I want to start at red and end at white, or start at white and end at red. But anyway, this has 900 meters in it, and it has 85% soft cotton and 15% lurex. Well, that's the opal. So they say this is soft cotton. Hard to tell. It's the same. It's a little wee bit thicker than the last one I showed you, but not much. It also says to use a 0 to a 2 hook. I think I could use a 3.5 or even a 4 hook with that. But I think that is gorgeous. I can't wait to make a shawl out of that. So I'm going to leave the bag off now. I just wanted to show you how they shipped them. They really take care with each and every one of them. So that's my order from Stenley. Much smaller than the one I got last summer and fall. Now, I do have other yarns that I've received since I've showed you lots of yarn, but I will wait and show you more in the coming weeks. Now I want to talk about what I am wearing and what Hope is wearing. So I'm going to start with Hope. Hope is wearing a cocoon that I made last month. Again, turn it around so you can see some of the back. It has little splotches of different colors throughout it, and then I went and put a special stitch in it which you can't even see. So this is the yarn, how it looks. And once again, I make the rectangle and then I stitch it to make the sleeves. And then I go, after I put the sleeves in, I go around the whole thing. I'm thinking I might do a couple more rows. There's how much I did, and it's only a few, maybe 4 inches, and I like to do it a little bit wider. So I heard people talking in I think it was Reggie's Live. There were people there bemoaning cocoons because of the way they catch under their butt and they slip off. They don't cover in the front, and that's my whole reason for doing that band going around, is because of the lack of coverage in the front. And I think this needs just a wee bit more. So I might get it. There's yarn left over. I just put it aside because I was ready to move on, but whoops, coming apart. All right. Here is the yarn I used. It comes in a great big ball. I had 2 of these. They are loops and thread. You won't be able to buy them anymore. You know, they made them for a season and then they don't make them anymore. I happened to buy this in a couple of colors. So I had 2 balls of this, and you can see I have a lot left over of this ball. See the sparkle in it. So let me tell you about it. It's called Brushed Colors, and it has 464 yards in it. Well, I maybe used half or a little more. So you can see I made, used about 700 yards, because it's a number 5 weight. See how thick it is? And what's in it? That's 73% acrylic, 15% polyester, and 12% polyamide. So I love the colors. It is very soft. You can see the halo on it. And of course, I love the sparkles. And you never know, this may become my cocoon, although I find a lot of people like purple. But I'm thinking, the more I look at that, the more I want to add a couple more rows onto it. So I will ball this up, and then when I get finished all the summer things, I will add some more to it. So that's one item I have finished. And what I am wearing. Now, I have mentioned this a couple of times. This is a shawl pattern from Karen Hooley. And again, I'll link her in the description box below. And I don't know if you remember, but I had this dark blue and this white yarn out quite a while ago, saying, I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I want to put these 2 together. Here they are. Whoops. Here are the 2 yarns. This one, the lighter one, is from Smash Knits. They are on Etsy. I will link them. And this is considered a super sock, 85% merino, 15% nylon. There are 400 meters or 437 yards in the skein. this color is called Sorcerer's Apprentice. Very nice. Merino nylon, feels like most merino nylon blends. And then this one, and I found lately that I'm really liking navies to go with things. This one comes from, and I showed you this lady before, a, a chick that knits. And again, see if I could open this a bit. A chick that knits, and I found her on Etsy as well. And I have more yarn from her. A chick that knits. And this is called Starfish, and it's 80-20. The other was 85-15. This is 80-20 merino nylon, and again 400. Oh, this is 400 yards, not 400 meters. So it has a little less in the ball. But I had enough to finish the pattern. I did not have enough of this. There should have been one more row in the lacy part, and I had to leave out the second to last row so I could put the finished row. And this is called Whimsy. And I'm actually going to take off, don't you just love my shawl pin, a cute little kitty? I'm going to take this off just so I can show you what this shawl looks like. This is hammered silver, by the way. I'm pretty sure I got it on Etsy a while back, so I don't know that I could find it. But here's the pattern, and I really, really like it. The dark part was very easy, just double crochets. You just had to watch your edges to make this. See, it's a semicircle. And then, you know, one row with a pattern, and those were, I believe they were X cross stitches in the white. And then finally she had a lace pattern. But it was not hard to do at all. I seem to recall there was a chart as well, and you know how much I love my charts. So there was the finished project. It's really, really pretty. It's a really easy chart. She has, I think it's called Whimsy is the name of the shawl. And I really, really enjoyed doing it. I kind of like the semicircular looks, and I'm not going to try and pin it back up. It took me a few minutes to get all those pins in so it looked nice. So I'll just put it around me because it's cool today. I have time for one more finished object, and I don't have the yarn band or whatever with me. But for those of you that watch Reggie and are subscribed to her channel and also on Facebook, you would have seen that I posted a picture. This is Reggie's pattern that is called the Advent, the Masquerade Shawl. The crocheted masquerade shawl. And what I really like about this pattern, it isn't hard. The body of it is double crochets, and it increases, as you can see, in the normal way. But I really love this extra that you put on as you're going. You add this detail as you're going. And by the way, this has been blocked, so it's stretched. But it gives it a very beautiful finished edging that really, I think, dresses it up. I think I wouldn't mind if there was a way, if you're listening, Reggie, maybe you could add to the pattern somehow to give it a border. Maybe there's a border in the pattern and I didn't notice because I was watching the chart. It has a chart and I just love the chart. Now, one more thing. The yarn that I used for this, I showed you this yarn a couple months ago. This yarn is the yarn that little Bishes Stitches dyed and named after Reggie. So this is your usual merino nylon combination blend sock yarn. And the color, isn't it a gorgeous burgundy, which is Reggie's color? And it's called Less Wine, Wine, more wine, Wine. Reggie likes her wine. And when she does Yarniversity, most of the time, she has wine. So this is Reggie's pattern made with the yarn dyed for Reggie. And I wanted to show that. And you do see a picture of it on a mannequin on Reggie's J Hook Crochet on her Facebook page. So that is all the time we have this week. This is nice and soft, by the way. Very nice yarn to work with. And as I said, an easy pattern. And Reggie's pattern is available on her Etsy shop, and I will link it in the description box below. So I have one other finished object, and it'll wait. It won't happen next week probably, but the week after, because if you recall, next week is going to be a special week. Next week, I am going to feature the designer, CJ Brady. Now, I contacted CJ Brady. You can get her patterns on Etsy or Ravelry. I prefer to get them in Ravelry. And I contacted her and asked her if she minded if I did a feature of her, and could I do a mini interview of her. I would just send some questions. There's no way I knew how to set up a video chat and get that filmed and on my YouTube channel. But she was quite happy for me to send her some questions, and she answered them quite extensively. So I think that might be a very interesting show next week, telling you about the designer and how she got into it and what she likes to design, and showing you her designs. And I have about 4 or 5 of hers that I have made that I can show you as well. I've made more than that, but I didn't go digging for them all. So that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to look at and talk about CJ Brady's designs. One more thing I wanted to say to you, and I'll bring it up again in the future. I have had 2 or 3 of my followers send me pictures of some of the things they have made. And I was thinking that I would love to get pictures from more of you, and that maybe I would do one show sometime in June, mid-June maybe, featuring items you have made. Now, one viewer, for example, saw the shawl I made with the green yarn, and it was called Fields in Provence. And she had some green, and that sparked the idea, and she made a shawl and sent me a picture. So I was thinking, if I've done anything, I had another viewer that was sparked by my video on loveys. And so she showed me how she adapted it to something a little bit different and sent me a bunch of pictures. So I'm thinking, if I've talked about something that has sparked some pattern or inspired you to try something, I'd love to see a picture of it. Or even if after I showed all the cocoons, you made a cocoon. Or after I showed all the ponchos, I have a friend that made a poncho and sent me a picture of her poncho. Or if there's anything else that you would really love to show me. I had one viewer send me a picture, gorgeous, gorgeous blanket she made. So I already have 3 or 4 pictures from my followers, and I would love to see if I could get some more. My email address is in the description box below, And let's say you have the next month, let's say till the first week of June, to send me your pictures. And possibly the second week of June, I'll announce a date later when I mention this again. I'll show pictures of what you have been busy doing. I think that would be an interesting thing to do. So I'd love to see pictures from all of you. That would be wonderful. I might have to do 2 different shows if I get enough pictures. So, and by the way, I'm only 2 or 3 people short of making 300 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and help me get over 300. When I get to 500, we'll do something special. But in the meantime, I'd love to see pictures of what you're doing. And I hope you'll join me to see Patterns by C.J. Brady next week. And until then, happy hooking.